Guanacaste, Costa Rica. My name's Gerry. Welcome to this little Facebook Live. We try to do this every week at the same time and just talk about some things that are coming up. What is Rythmia? Rythmia is a life advancement center that specializes in something called a soul retrieval or a soul merger, which is something that we believe in. We believe sometime when you're conceived in 6 or 7 years old, you split. And then re-putting that together changes everything in your life. We have great data that suggests we're right. Over 9,500 people have come through the doors. And about 95.17% of every 1,000, 951.7 out of 1,000 report a life-changing miracle during their stay. 92%, 92.71, I believe is the exact percentage of those people at 6 months say this is still working in their life, and this was the week that changed their life. We are the top-rated TripAdvisor resort in the whole world. In the whole world. This little place in Costa Rica. How many reviews do you have? Over 1,500. Perfect. Last week I was super excited because I was going to make a big announcement, and I did. We're developing a super unique board of directors. Our board of directors already has on it Tony Ko, the founder of NYX Cosmetics, the Forbes top 100 self-made richest women in the world. Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith, the Reverend from the Agape Spiritual Center, contributor to the book The Secret. We have Martin Luther King III, the namesake and son of the civil rights leader Martin Luther King, who is a civil rights leader in his own right. We have, who am I missing there? Myself, my 2 children, and that's Gerry and Patrick, and Dr. Jeff McNary, amazing partner of Rythmia's. And we're making this announcement. Kelly Slater, the greatest surfer of all time, no questions asked. A wonderful friend, a visionary, a guy who's super honest, sincere, whose life was changed by plant medicine at Rythmia. It's a wonderful contribution to this board of directors in this company that is changing the world. And that is the truth. This place is changing the world. This week, we have the amazing Taita Juanito Chindon is here serving medicine. Full house, excited people. It is brimming, it is happening, and it is now. Taita Juanito is just fantastic. Okay, anyway, one thing I want to say. I got a couple, not nasty grams, but hey, Gerry, have you forgotten us about the housing? Because there are people that have not gotten back, that there are inquiries that have not been satisfied yet. So we're a little bit backed up. Forgive us on that. Stay with us, and we will get your questions answered by either Dwayne Martino or Dwayne Marino or John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. No, John Jacob. Who is so one of these guys will get back to you in the next few days, at the latest a week. That project is going to be amazing. A conscious community, daily breath work, daily yoga, daily meditation, plant medicine twice a month in a conscious community of like-minded individuals. What a way to go. Contiguous to Rythmia. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. And it is happening. You know, this is one of those things. It's a vision. It started out as we're going to do 52. Then it turned into 104. Now it's going to turn into some number much greater than that. We may build the largest conscious community in the world. Who knows? Okay. Talk about some things. I have this thing called Blink List, and they like paraphrase these books. And I'm just looking at so many of these books that have to do with success. So many. There's so many books that have to do with. And in the spiritual realm, success is a part of your existence, right? Anything that touches your existence is a part of it. And anything that it spawns worry, concern, doubt, or fear is a part of it. And one of the big things in people's lives that's a generator of worry, concern, doubt, and fear is their financial life or their professional life. And I want to talk about that because you cannot talk about spirituality without talking about it. It's one of the big three. It's one of the super important aspects of your life. Now, a lot of these books, and it was an amazing thing, I am a firm believer in this process, the process of merging yourself, picking your vocation, your business, your livelihood, basically engineering your life from a merged place, and then going after that life with everything in you, because the exertion of effort towards that end is the act of living a fully functional, fully satisfying life. Is the act of the pursuit of those things. Now, I can say that, and I know so many people. I know athletes, billionaires, all kinds of people at the top of their thing. And I want to tell you what I see. I don't see the heights of that being as the acquisition of satisfaction. I see the path of that as the acquisition of satisfaction. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Half effort. So here's the thing. A lot of people, and this is, I want to talk to your heart and your soul about this, and then we'll get into picking these things from a merged place and to know what that feels like, the feeling tone of that. But before I get that, this one book that I just cliff noted, whatever this thing I just talked about was talking about half efforts and how people go through their lives, and they go through their lives as an also ran. They come into work and they do the minimum, and they in their life they have small expectations, and they're just doing the minimum all the time, thinking that a half effort will produce a half result, and it does not work. It does not work. A half effort produces less than half of a result. And I got to get you to understand this with me, is that this exertion to do the best you can be, to be the best beneficial presence in your thing, will produce a result of greater than 100%. And then cutting that down by any margin produces the inverse of that, which is a number lower than half. So you can't do this, and this is where this gets really confusing, because you can't go in and try to shoot for the minimum and be accurate about it, and do half of an effort and walk away with half the prize. It doesn't work that way. The spoils go to the victor. The spoils go to the person that worked the hardest, that had the clearest vision, that was the most undaunted, that was the most selfless, to get to this place. That's where this goes. That's always where it goes. Now, why do people do half efforts? I believe they do half efforts because they're not doing it from a merged place. This is what I believe completely. So it's easy to give up when it's not from a place that moved your soul. It is not from a place that moved your soul. It's very hard to give up your dream when your dream is from the right place. It's incredibly hard. Something crazy has to happen. And I'm not even talking about accidents and things, because I've seen drummers lose legs and arms and still be top. So that's not that. It's something much bigger than that has to happen to get you out of a vocation, a business, a marriage, a this, and that. That's from a merged place. So let's keep talking about it. How not to quit. What are we talking about? How not to quit. Well, how not to quit is to pick it from the right place. And how do we know? People have this question to me all the time. They always say when they come here, and it's amazing when you see what happens here. People come here and they're like confused and this and that, and it's all walks of life. I have super wealthy people who are confused. I have people who are not wealthy who are confused. I have people who are between marriages that are confused, people in marriages. And what is all this confusion? This confusion comes around designing the life that I want. That's what the confusion comes around. Why am I not living the life that I want? And the reason is because you didn't design the life that you wanted. You engineer the life that you want. If you do this right, is it hard to do? Terribly, terribly, terribly hard to do. Most people don't want to take the first step. Most people don't want to think about it. They don't want to think about it. They don't want to sit down and break their life apart and then say, these are the things I want, and reverse engineer it back to today. Nobody wants to do that. Very few people do it. About 1% of us do it. Yeah. But that is super from a merge place, because when we're looking at our life and we're talking, we had this merger. I'm going to talk to the folks. Hi, everybody. Hey, Donna. Hey, Dolly. Hi, Donna. Hey, Dolly. Hi, Maria. All my people. Hi, Donna. Hi, Olinda. Hi, Chris. Hey, guys. Beautiful. Glad that you're all here. Okay, I want to talk to my people that have been here and had a merger. When you have a merger, it is super important to ask these questions. So I have my merger, and I'm saying, okay, the F with my old life, I'm going to create my new life exactly like I want it. I want this. I want to be a beneficial presence in my community. I want to create this business or this healing modality or whatever that benefits the most amount of people. I want to have this kind of personal life. I want to have this kind of sex life. I want to have this kind of social life. This is what I want it to look like. And I do it. Now, the first thing I got to ask myself is this. Was that from my merge place? Was that from my merge place? And then you're going to get an answer. You're going to say, and one of the ways to do that is, where was that from? Okay, so let's talk about it. So I want to be a saxophone player. Okay, now be alone with that. Where was that from? Was that from my heart or my head? If it's from my head, that's okay. If it's from my head, that's okay, because we say, okay, why was that from there? Why? And then you have to go backwards. This is why this is not easy. Why? Oh, it's because my auntie, who I admired since I was a kid, liked saxophone players. I don't even really know if I liked saxophone playing. Boom. Do you see? Because that's not from the merge self. That's from noise. And there's even after you merge, there's going to be noise. You still have to ask the question, where was that from? Oh, that felt like that was from my heart. This can be confusing too. Because now we have to say the merge part of ourself, which is probably about here, the merge, which includes the gut, includes the heart, includes the mind. It's somewhere in here. This is the thing that takes into account all things. And when we talk like a merge person from this, like, okay, what do I want to love? Well, what turns me on sexually might be something different than what I want as love. Very interesting, right? So following our heart has to have certain things. Sometimes we follow our heart in the pursuit of love. Not good. Not good. The merged self takes all of that into account. And sometimes our merged, when we pick this vocation from our merged place, it could be a very hard thing. It's not always in flow, in easy, in this. A lot of times it's the exact opposite. A lot of times when we pick it from the merged place and we look at it, we go, hey, that's a fucking rough one. But it's it's our lodestar. That is it. So you want to go and ask the questions, where was that from? Get an answer. Then where was that from? Get an answer. Then where was that from? And not everything picked from here is wrong. And not everything picked from here is right. And not everything picked from here is right. Because what's one of the big triggers of our gut? Failure. So our gut, a lot of times has to do with survival, right? And you can do this with kids. If I got bit by a dog when I was young. And for a long time after that, when I heard a dog bark, my gut said, let's get the hell out of here. So was that a rational thought? No, not at all. Not at all. So we really have to, when we talk about merge self, and a lot of times I romanticize it to the point that I think people believe what I'm talking about is too easy. Because I make it sound easy, but it's hard. Now I'm going to talk about that. So it's hard and it requires a full effort. When you do this work, when you sit down and say, I'm going to engineer my life, that requires a full effort. If you do a half-assed effort, you're going to get a less than half-assed result. Sad. And yet, here's what's going to happen. Monday's going to come. Tuesday's going to come. Wednesday's going to come. The future is still coming. But if you do a half-assed effort today, which isn't much easier, because here's the thing. So let's look at things in probabilities. Doing it half-assed isn't that much easier than doing a full effort. It's not. You still got to look at it. You still got to, you still got to walk to work. You still got to punch a clock. You still got to do, doing a half effort is not half as easy as doing a full effort. It's not. It's not. So like we're asking it to stretch a little bit and stretch in the engineering, stretch in the time. This is why people say, I have a lot of people here that see me around here, and I spend a lot of time in my house. I spend a lot of time alone. Why? I'm always asking these questions. I'm always asking these questions. And one thing that I noticed in one of the Blinkless things, it's all about how not to quit. I don't even have to think about not quitting. I don't think about not quitting, right? Some people do. Some people think all the time about I'm half in, half out, half in and half out and half in and half out. I don't deal with that shit. I am fucking in. I'm in on all things. That's why, but when I get alone, what I do is I re-question, is this still from this right place? Is this direction, this new direction I want to go in? Where is that from? Is it to look good in the public? Is it to help people? Is it to where? Where is that help people from? Where is that from? Is it because I want to look good, or do I really want to be a beneficial presence? Is it really selfish, or is it selfless? I get into that. And then once my house is that organized, and I have to say this, mine is, that I know exactly what I want, exactly where that came from, then nothing can stop you because you're not thinking about quitting. I know people every day, I know people every day that I speak to on the phone, and they're like, should I buy this? Should I buy that? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I stay married? Should I get divorced? And I'm, holy fuck, I think these people, how do they get through the day if they have this much? I don't think of any of that. And I had people who came to me in the last month and said, it's so funny, you just didn't, at some point you just didn't walk away from this. I never even consider it. I don't even consider it. Even when in COVID, I was like pulling my hair out, wanting it to be over and wanting the bills to stop and to have some money come in, but I didn't think about quitting. I never thought about quitting. I only thought about different ways of doing it, how to get through. So the gift that I'm talking about for you today is the gift of doing this and eliminating those answers, eliminating those questions. Imagine how much cooler life is if you don't have that, am I in the right relationship? Should I really be working at this place? God, I wish I lived in Texas. All of that shit. Stop that shit. Take the time. Sit down. Have the merger. Then sit down post-merger, because here's where this can get a little tricky. The romanticization of post-merge life. Like everything is beautiful. Everything looks great. Every opportunity looks like it fits. And what we can't do, so we have one bullet, one target, and one gun. That's it. What we can't do is we can't shoot that gun 50 times. One bullet, one target, one gun. That's why we sit down, we take our paper, we design the life that we want, and then we question each one to make sure that is coming from our merged self, which means it is coming from my soul. And what is my soul other than the collection of these things, right? So our soul is eternal, forever, and the earth body has these experiences that it draws upon, and we are on earth. We pull this from our soul. This thing, first qualification is, does this make my soul sing? And then we go into the merged self. How do I do it? Is it hard? Is it this? Is it that? Yes, 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 yes. My soul is still strong on it. Where is it coming from? It's coming from my desire to help people. Then I don't care how hard it is. I want it. Put me down for this kind of future and this kind of business. Now we go to the next thing. What do I want my off time to look like? What are my hobbies or my this? And do the exact same thing. Does it make my soul? Why? Is it because I want to get love from other people? Wrong answer. Because the soul generates love. That's what allows it to be loved. The soul is not a love sucker. It's a love giver. So anything that's soul-centric is in the giving mode. When you see people who give from their soul, they get all the love that they need. They're not doing it for the love. The love is a byproduct of the gift of the soul. So it's really confusing, because if you sit down and the thing is, I want to be loved, that's not a soul, that's an emerged place. A merged place doesn't really think in terms of that. A merged place thinks more of in terms of what I can do. And you'll see that distinction, right? The distinction. I know so many people walk around when they get here, they're like, all I wanted to ever do is to be loved. And they didn't understand that they were the one they were asking the question from. By the end of the week, they get it. I get all the love I can generate towards me. And that's what makes this business so incredibly rewarding, because I get to watch other people get in that same space. It's a beautiful, beautiful space to be. It's a beautiful space to be. So when I'm talking about this, what do I want? Where does that come from? What do I want? Why do I want that? Where did that come from? These are all the questions that go on and on. And then once I get my collage, people use vision boards and things. I'm not a vision boardy. I'm a guy that fucking, this is it. And I write them down, and then I pray them every day. So one thing that I get into in my book, Truthonomics, which is coming out shortly, one thing that I get into is how to give the thanks prayers for these things. So I thank the presence for giving me my lodestars, which are these things. That rythmia heals more than anybody else in the world. That this, and I thank for it every day. And that reaffirms, number one, it clears my day and clears my thoughts, so that I don't get caught in the underbrush with things I don't need. Because once you're doing this and once you're in love with the process, what you want to do is have constant clarity. So it's really easy to be tenacious. What in these books they call tenacious, when it's crystal clear that you want these things and you've reminded yourself every day, these are the things, these are the things, these are the things. So a lot of people spend time on what I will do and what I won't do. I don't. I spend time on what I want. And then everything else is easy. I know in a second where I will go and where I won't go, because I know, is this getting me closer to this thing without violating any personal ethics? So it's easier. Life is easier. There's a way to live this life, because the craziest thing about this is that, and it's unfair the way that it's set up, but when we're young, like my 5th grade summer was probably the equivalent of 3 annual years now. 3 years was how long my 5th grade summer felt. So as we get older, it goes faster and faster and faster, faster, and there's never enough. And I talk about this in my class on Monday, about watching people that get to the retching place on the medicine, this place of the regret from this past lifetime. I want to have less of that. And the only way that I can have less of it is if I'm cognizant with my God over the amount of time that I have. And so what is being a good steward of your life? It's actually being a good steward of your time. So you can't be a good steward of your time. There is no way that you'd hop into a business without thinking about any of the parts of it. Oh, that's too hard to think of the parts. Let's just do it. And if you do, you're crazy, right? But we're doing the same thing with our lives, and we got to step back and look at it and say, hey, look at, is this from this place? How do I know that? Because I tracked down the stimulus for each of these ideas, and they all came back to this: either giving love, either becoming a beneficial presence, having that act of being a beneficial presence in this particular thing, giving love, have that ring a bell in my soul that is undeniable. Boom. I know that that's for me. I know that that's for me. That's it. And then we don't give up. We don't quit. We don't get sidetracked. You know, we have, everybody's life has problems. Mothers get sick, you know, family die, things get harder, money gets short, refrigerators break, you know, dogs die. That's life. But we don't deviate from our thing. And that thing, this most important thing, which is the life that I designed for me, is what my thing is. And then the act of making that life real is what gives satisfaction, not pleasure, satisfaction. And satisfaction that every night that you put your feet up, you say, yep, I got an inch closer today. It's a 400-mile journey, but I made an inch today. And tomorrow, if I'm lucky enough and I have 2 feet and a heartbeat, I can get an inch closer. That is it. That's what this is all about. And if you can lower your bliss expectations, I see a lot of everything now is surrounded around the word bliss, right? So bliss is pleasure. Bliss can be mystical bliss or spiritual bliss, which is beautiful and temporary. Beautiful and temporary. You want to see it. You want to know that it's there, but it is temporary. What's real is this act of designing, then managing the life that I want. That is real. And that has satisfaction, which feels different than bliss. And you can still have bliss. Come to Rythmia, drink medicine, Get to know God. That is bliss. You can have that bliss every day. You can have that bliss every day. You can connect with that bliss every day. But then you got to get here and you got to do these things. So we're running this in tandem. The object is to take that bliss into your life, right? And that's kind of what I'm talking about now. So that's a lot of words. I just said a lot of words, but it's all real. So how do I apply that? I'm in Sandusky, Ohio. I haven't been to Rythmia, and I hear what you're saying. Those words are landing on my heart. How do I? Well, come here. Come here and go through this merger. And then once you're merged, then ask the questions and when you design your life. And if you ask the questions, if you've been here and you've lost your way a little bit and got caught up in the underbrush, that's usually because you said no to the soul and yes to something else from some other place completely without doing this check of where it's at. Go back to it. Whip out your sheet. See, is this the family that I want? Is this the life that I want? Is this the job that I want? Am I living where I want to live? Is the United States the right place for me? Is Turkey the right place for me? Is wherever it is, and go into it and really go into it and really connect with it and then commit to it. And when you commit to it, pray to it every single day. Not pray of let me get. Pray of thank you for having given me these things. As if they were already yours, because they are. The rest of it is energetic. The rest of it, and what I mean by that is this. Once you know that these things are yours, you will start acting that way. You will give 100% efforts. Nobody will be able to take you off your path. Boom, you're there. The rest is a matter of time. The rest is just a matter of time. All right, great. I loved talking to you today. I got so much out of it myself. I'm so excited about what the rest of this day holds. I'm thrilled about the board of Rythmia. I'm thrilled about where Rythmia is going. and the work that it's doing. And I'm thrilled to know all of you and to have you in this community. And we love you. God love you. God keep you. God bless you. Come down and do a week with us, and your life will be forever changed. God bless you.